Hey warriors, every day there are countless decisions made in the heat of reaction. According to behavioral psychology research, almost 90% of our daily decisions are made based on emotion, not logic. Consider that for a moment. Most of what we say, do, or regret, it doesn't come from thoughtful consideration. It comes from a reaction we couldn't control. That is why the ancient Stoics put such profound value on controlling our inner world. They knew something that modern science is only now validating. When you control your reaction, you control your reality. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words resonate through the ages because they remind us of a truth many forget. Our peace is stolen not by events, but by our reactions to them. When someone insults us, when life lets us down, when things go wrong, our first reaction is to fire back, defend ourselves, or let rage take over. But here's the paradox. Every time we let emotion drive the car, we give away our power. We let others control how we feel, how we think, and even how we behave. That is not freedom. That is slavery to impulse. The power of not reacting is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the art of choosing dignity over chaos, silence over noise, clarity over confusion. In a world that encourages us to be quick, loud, and impulsive, the one who pauses becomes powerful. Now, before we go deeper, I want you to imagine something. The last time you regretted your words, perhaps it was a fiery argument, a text sent too hastily, or a decision made in anger. That regret, that heavy feeling afterwards, comes from one truth. Reaction without reflection always costs more than it gives. And here is the beauty. Learning not to react doesn't mean stifling your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It means creating a space between what happens to you and what you choose to do with it. In that space lies the freedom to respond with wisdom, calm, and strength. The Stoics referred to this practice as the cultivation of virtue, the pinnacle of human achievement. Virtue in Stoic philosophy is not about being holy or perfect. It is about living in harmony with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. And self-control starts at the very moment of reaction. Think of it this way. Anger wants you to blow up. Fear wants you to flee. Ego wants you to fight. But wisdom whispers, wait, breathe. Choose that pause, that silence, that refusal to give over your soul to the madness of the moment. That is where transformation starts. The journey we're about to embark in this video is not about theories alone. It is about practical steps, real human everyday practices that can make you unshakable in a shaking world. These are not just ideas, they are living practices, tools that the Stoics used centuries ago and that we can apply today in our workplaces, in our families, in our relationships, and most importantly within ourselves. The world will always test us. People will provoke us. Circumstances will frustrate us. But the truth is, no one can really control us unless we give them the keys through our reactions. Epictetus, another great Stoic teacher, put it beautifully. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Those words remind us that every insult, every challenge, every disappointment is simply an invitation. An invitation to rise above impulse and choose clarity. So today, as you listen, don't just soak up these ideas. Practice them. Visualize them. Imagine yourself in those moments of heat, of conflict, of chaos. And then imagine yourself standing still, calm, untouchable. That is the power of not reacting. Before we start with the first principle, I want to ask you if you find value in this message. Don't forget to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with someone who needs this wisdom, and subscribe so you never miss more insights on living with strength and clarity. Say to yourself and drop this affirmation in the comments: I choose wisdom over reaction. Music number 1, the sacred pause, your gateway to freedom. In a world that celebrates speed, silence is revolutionary. We are in a society where instant responses, instant reactions, and instant judgments are the norm. But the reality is, the quicker we respond, the less we actually think. And that is where the risk is. The Stoics knew something deep. The strongest person in the room is not the one who speaks first, but the one who waits. Waiting is not weakness. It is wisdom masquerading as patience. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, once said, The greatest remedy for anger is delay. He didn't say silence or avoidance, but delay, the sacred pause. This pause is your armor. It is the breath that prevents your words from becoming weapons and your emotions from becoming shackles. Think about it. How many wars in history? How many broken friendships? How many broken families could have been preserved by just a moment of pause? One deep breath, one heartbeat of silence, 1 second of restraint. But here is the magic. The pause is not merely about preventing harm. It is also about finding truth. When you pause, you create space. In that space, you start to see more clearly. You start to distinguish the noise of your emotions from the wisdom of your reason. Modern neuroscience even verifies this. When we respond impulsively, the amygdala, the primitive part of the brain, takes over. But when we pause even for a few seconds, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and judgment, takes over. That pause literally rewires your decision making in the moment. It switches you from survival mode to wisdom mode. The Stoics believe that freedom doesn't come from dominating the world. It comes from dominating yourself. The pause is where this control starts. Imagine someone insults you in public. Your reaction may be to fire back, defend yourself, or prove them wrong. But if you pause even for 2 seconds, you deprive that insult of its power. You turn a provocation into an opportunity for clarity. This is not about silence permanently. It is not about bottling emotions. It is about reclaiming the lost art of waiting, responding when you are ready, not when you are triggered. The sacred pause can take many forms. It can be as simple as one deep breath before responding to a message, walking away for a moment, before responding to an insult, closing your eyes before making a hard decision, saying to yourself, "Not yet, let me think." These small acts of delay become powerful shields against regret. Marcus Aurelius captured this practice when he wrote in his Meditations, "If you are troubled by anything outside yourself, the distress is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment of it, and this you can withdraw at any time." The pause is where that withdrawal begins. It is the moment you reclaim control over your own mind. Now, some might say, "But won't people think I am weak if I don't respond right away?" The answer is no. In fact, the opposite is true. The one who pauses earns respect because they show they are not slaves to impulse. They demonstrate that their dignity is more valuable than fleeting satisfaction. Think of the lion. A lion does not leap to respond to every noise in the jungle. It waits. It observes. It selects its moment with deliberation. The pause does not make the lion weak. It makes it regal. And so it is with us. The pause is your key to freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from manipulation. Freedom from emotional slavery. In every pause, you reclaim your life. Let me give you a simple practice you can begin today. The rule of 3 breaths. Whenever you feel the impulse to react, anger, insult, frustration, commit to taking 3 slow breaths before doing anything. Just 3. Inhale deeply. Hold, exhale slowly. Do it again. By the 3rd breath, you will feel your emotions changing, the fire dying down, the fog clearing. That is the power of the pause. The Stoics didn't teach philosophy. They taught practices, ways of living, and this practice, the sacred pause, is one of the most practical gifts you can give yourself. Because in the end, life isn't measured by how quickly we respond, but by how wisely we choose. So the next time life tests you, and it will remember, not everything needs a reaction. Some things need nothing but your silence, your breath, and your calm. In that silence, you will discover not emptiness, but power. Epictetus once stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The pause is how you start to master yourself and self. Mastery is the most authentic form of freedom. Pause, breathe, choose. That is the way to wisdom. Let these words be your guide and leave this in the comments. I pause, I breathe, I choose. Number 2, the mirror of truth. What your reactions tell you about yourself. Reactions are more than responses to the world. They are reflections. Mirrors reflecting the condition of our inner self. When someone pushes a button in you, it is not the button that counts. It is what is underneath. The Stoics thought that emotions are teachers, not enemies to be eliminated, but signals to be interpreted. They remind us of where we are still weak, still wounded, still tied to ego or fear. Epictetus got this truth right when he said, "When someone provokes you, be sure that it is your own opinion which provokes you." In other words, the person insulting you doesn't own your anger. Your interpretation of their words does. The insult is outside, but your rage is inside. The reaction is a mirror, reflecting the story you are telling yourself. If an insult makes you enraged, perhaps pride is in charge. If rejection shatters you completely, perhaps self-worth is too weak. If delays leave you agitated, maybe patience is absent. Each reaction whispers something about your inner landscape. This is why reactions are great guides. They uncovered the truth we often hide from ourselves. Many of us stroll through life blaming others. They made me angry. They ruined my day. They pushed me too far. But the Stoic way turns the question inward. Why did I give them that power? What inside me allowed this? And here's the beauty. When you start to see your reactions as mirrors, you stop being ashamed of them. You stop blaming others. Instead, you start learning. Every emotional reaction becomes an invitation to deeper self-awareness. Think about it. If someone calls you a liar and you know you've been honest, you might shrug and move on. But if the same word burns you inside, perhaps it is because dishonesty lives somewhere in your past, or because training the mind every day, just like a soldier, does not wait for war to begin practicing. You cannot wait for crisis to begin learning peace. You prepare your strength before the storm, and every test you face becomes another stone added to your walls. Here are 3 pillars for your fortress of peace. Discipline of thought. You cannot control every event, but you can control what you let your mind dwell on. Trade the habit of constant worry for the practice of deliberate focus. The Stoics conditioned themselves to distinguish what they could control from what they could not. Peace starts where worry ends. Control of desires. Much of our unrest arises from wanting more success, more attention, more validation. But the Stoics reminded us that true wealth is not having everything but needing little. When you master your desires, no loss can shake you because your peace is not attached to what you consume, but to who you are. Courage in adversity. Fear is one of the greatest thieves of peace, but courage, even quiet courage, is what anchors the soul. The Stoics did not say we should never feel fear. They said we should act with strength despite it. That choice, courage over panic, strengthens the walls of your inner fortress. Imagine someone hurling insults at you. If your peace is dependent on their respect, you will crumble. But if your peace is founded on dignity and self-control, their insults cannot enter your fortress. Imagine losing wealth or status. If your peace is dependent on those things, the loss will break you. But if your peace rests on character, no loss can touch it. Seneca warned of this truth. He who is brave is free. Freedom does not mean a life without hardship. It means hardship cannot chain your spirit. This is the essence of inner peace. But here is the key. Building this fortress is not passive. It is not about running away from the world or pretending nothing hurts. It is about engaging life with strength, practicing calm every day, and reminding yourself, my peace is mine. No one can take it unless I give it away. Try this practice every morning before stepping into the day. Close your eyes and remind yourself today, I may encounter rudeness, delays, disappointments, unfairness, but none of these things can take away my peace unless I let them. Carry that sentence with you like armor. Over time, you'll notice something change. What used to upset you will begin to pass by like shadows. What used to shake you will no longer move you. You will still feel emotions. Yes, you are human, but you will no longer be controlled by them. That is strength. That is freedom. Think of your mind as a temple. You do not let just anyone walk in with muddy shoes. In the same way, protect your inner world with care. Not everything deserves a reaction, and not everything deserves access to your peace. Marcus Aurelius said it simply. You have control over your mind, not external events. See this, and you will find strength. This is the unshakable truth. Peace is not out there in the world. It is in here, in the fortress you construct with patience, discipline, and courage. So when the storms come, and they will, stand firm in your fortress. Let the winds howl. Let the waves crash. You will stand unbroken because your peace does not rely on them. It relies on you. Tell yourself with strength and drop this in the comments. My peace is my fortress and nothing can shatter it. Number 4. The art of emotional aikido, redirecting instead of resisting. When we hear the word strength, we tend to imagine resistance. Fighting back, holding our ground, standing firm. But the Stoics, like many wise traditions, knew a deeper truth. Real strength is not merely about resisting force. It is about redirecting it. This is where we can borrow an image from martial arts, specifically Aikido. In Aikido, the aim is not to meet aggression with aggression. Instead, the practitioner learns to redirect the opponent's energy, turning the attack into an opportunity for balance. The energy is not wasted, it is redirected. In the same way, emotional mastery is not about shutting down feelings or pretending they don't exist. It is about redirecting the energy of those emotions into something higher, more useful, and more powerful.